This week on UND Insider Weekly, the beloved panel discusses volleyball's great weekend as they started conference play. Hockey is close to returning here in Grand Forks, and coaches and players talk about getting ready for the beginning of a new season in a brand new conference. Men's basketball also close to returning. Before they return to the court, they go through a tough conditioning test. All this week on UND Insider Weekly. Welcome to UND Insider Weekly alongside Tom Miller, Brad Schlossman from the Grand Forks Herald, Paul Ralston of UND Athletics. I'm Tim Hennessy. Let's talk about soccer. North Dakota has the big win in their pockets over North Dakota State earlier this season, but kind of a rough ride the last time around against South Dakota State, and the tie previous to that 2-2 after having a lead. Guys, what do you think is going on there? It looks like they played well against North Dakota State, okay against South Dakota, not very well against South Dakota State, and now it's Big Sky. Tom, what do you think?
Well, I think, when you have freshmen and sophomores in your lineup as much as Coach Kellogg does, you're going to have your ups and downs. I think you saw that in the South Dakota match. Going up 2-0 early, even though they lost 2-2, though, Coach Kellogg was pretty happy with, the way they got a tie out of that game. He said 3 weeks ago that team went to tie that game, they would have lost it. So strides being made, even though it's probably not ideal in the win-loss tie column.
Brad, I think they beat South Dakota State last year, and then to go down 6-1 in Brookings, what went on there?
Well, I think you're maybe seeing a little bit with Kellogg's team what you saw with Brian Idalski when he first took over, and it might take a little while to get the consistency that you want out of a team and to incorporate some of his players. A lot of the young players are scoring for him already, but it's not something you can snap your fingers and change right away. It might take some time.
Paul, scoring is obviously a big, I don't know if it's a problem yet or not, but we looked at the Big Sky standings from last year when North Dakota didn't win a game and scored only 3 goals in 9 games. Is that going to be a big problem again this year?
I think it's going to be a challenge, especially from a consistency standpoint, because we've already seen it here early in the season. Didn't get off to a great start of scoring in early games, although they tested themselves against some pretty solid programs. But I think from the standpoint of it's going to be kind of an up and down, like Tom and Brad alluded to. A young team in certain positions, you're going to have games where it clicks and games where it doesn't. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride at times in the Big Sky Conference season. I envision them having games where they do score a couple of goals, and games where maybe the offense doesn't quite click for them. But it's going to be a challenge at times in Big Sky play.
We'll talk to Coach Kellogg when he comes on about it, but it seems like they want the offense to come from the defense, and not unsimilar to a hockey team.
I think so. I think that's exactly a good analogy there, is that you have to be solid in your own end, and that requires sometimes a lot of emphasis by your somewhat offensive players embracing roles of coming back, tracking back, and making plays on the ball on the defensive end before moving to the offensive side.
Volleyball started conference play on Friday against Montana State, where they won 3-1, where they didn't win last year. In fact, Montana State got them a couple times last year. Then they moved west after that to the University of Montana and won those games. More impressive that they won all the matches, both matches against Montana State and Montana, or the fact they only lost 1 set in the whole deal in their opening Big Sky conference play?
Well, I'll tell you this, Tim. I did pick them to sweep last week. I was the only panelist to do so. I'd like to remind everyone out there that I did. I just feel like they're heading in. I just feel like they're heading in the right direction. That tournament out in New Orleans, I think, was a big confidence booster for this team, and I feel like they kind of were able to take that to the next level on the road to begin Big Sky play. I'm impressed that they only lost 1 set on a road trip. It's so difficult to be so focused and have that focus to really take over matches, and I think that's very impressive that they were able to do that against Montana State and Bozeman and against Montana and Missoula.
Brad, we talk about the contributions that the veterans are putting up on this team, without a doubt, Parlick and Munkeby and those, that they're getting enough, I think, from the young players, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's kind of key to get as much as you can from all over the lineup, and maybe that's something they didn't have right away in the season when they were losing some of those games.
Big Sky 2-0, Tom, so far with Weber State and Idaho State. Probably a couple programs that North Dakota should have some success against, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I said last week that it's always tough to go on the road and win a couple in Montana, no matter what sport you're talking about. But to go out there and do as well as they did, win as convincingly as they did, I think that bodes well for how they can handle this home stretch here.
Well, it's and the Coach Hardy's talked about it a lot. About most of these girls are used to playing 2 or 3 games in a day. let alone 3 games, and I think it's going to be 4 or 5 nights with North Dakota State and on Monday. That shouldn't make any difference, should it?
No, with as many experienced players as they have that come from the junior kind of ranks in volleyball that play, like you said, those tournament style matches, I don't think they'll be too stressed out.
The North Dakota women's golf team is off to their best start in UND history. They've placed 2nd and 3rd so far. 2nd last week at the North Dakota Fall Classic in Grand Forks. 2nd year, full Division I status for the golf program. How important is it for UND to have a program be successful after making that transition to Division I? Paul, you're the golf expert on the panel.
Well, you look at it from the standpoint of it was such a challenge to get the right type of athlete, or in this case golfer, in during a transition, because it's tough to say that you have a lot to play for. You get a chance to play in a lot of events and measure yourself, but to get that quality athlete to buy in, what's really impressive for Natalie Martinson's team is that she's brought in a couple of transfers, and they've got a number of youngsters all competing and all buying in. And their skill set is a little different than what they've had than even 3, 4, or 5 years ago, and I just think that it bodes well here into Big Sky playing against these Big Sky schools that have a lot of talented players. And I think that having a little success right now is going to bode well for them, not only this year, but down the road as well.
It's difficult, isn't it, Brad, when you have teams in the Big Sky that I'm sure those guys probably get out on a course a lot longer than players at North Dakota. And you really look at Natalie's squad as well. She has recruited players that have played in this climate. How important is that?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's got to be tough to recruit a golfer to Grand Forks, North Dakota, when they maybe see they can go elsewhere and get on the course a lot more often. But obviously she's doing a good job and getting some players here that she can win with.
Tom, what do you think? She's getting players from Minnesota. She's gotten a transfer from Augustana that's done a nice job for her, leading them in scoring. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think getting into the Big Sky Conference and having a sponsored women's golf sport is big for that program. They can go up against some like schools with the Montana State. So I think when they look back at last year and they don't have any of the same people who scored at last year's meet playing this year, and they're improving, that's got to be encouraging for the future for them.
Let's talk a little football, because the UND football team will be back at home and now open Big Sky Conference play against the Bobcats of Montana State. I don't think it was a good thing that Montana State lost last week to Stephen F. Austin, as they were the number 3 ranked team in the country. I don't know if that bodes well or not so well for North Dakota. I guess you could look at it both ways, that time.
Right. Well, I think you could look at it where maybe it exposed some areas that UND can take advantage of that Stephen F. Austin did, especially a quarterback where they're obviously without Denarius McGee, the Big Sky Conference, one of the best offensive players in the league. Backup quarterback Jake Bleskin threw 3 picks, one that sealed Stephen F. Austin's win. So they're going to come in here a little battered, but probably a little angry. I'm sure UND would have liked to wait a week for that Montana State upset to happen.
Brad, how about having a week off to, number one, lick your wounds a little bit, but I think North Dakota needed it to get some people healthy. I don't think everybody realizes just how banged up they were in the Montana game, going into that game, and then coming out of it, it's got to be worse.
Well, yeah, you gotta be healthy, and like you said, you've coming off that Montana loss, a week off to sort of regroup, I think will be important for them, and to make sure they can stay focused and not get too discouraged about a couple of early defeats.
Paul, Coach Mussman has said that, just go out, play our game. We're good enough to win. Believe in that, and let the chips fall where they may. How do you like that take on it?
I think that's an excellent statement, because I think you come out of that Montana game, and as Brad was alluding to, I think as a coaching staff, you have to go and say, okay, how can we put ourselves in a position to give ourselves the best chance to win? Is it moving a player to a position where he can best succeed, or just simplifying things, or it allows kind of a week to evaluate, and then and then institute kind of what you need to do moving on from there. So I'm very impressed with that statement, because I think that's exactly the type of confidence that he needs to instill in his team moving forward against a very quality program like the Bobcats.
We'll find out what the panel has to say about the outcome of that game a little bit later on in the program. But coming up, as the start of a new season nears, teams from the new NCHC travel to Minneapolis for the first ever Conference Media Day. And Coach Kellogg joins us to talk about the start of conference play for his soccer team.
Preparation starts early. You're setting up cameras, scouting the area, sitting in a tree stand. No unnecessary movements. Blend into your surroundings. The animal pops out and you're ready to go. The atmosphere at the archery shop is awesome. It's a place to get info on how to become a better bow hunter. I'm Eric Schack. I'm an archery expert at Shields.
North Dakota Volleyball takes on NDSU Monday, September 30th at the Betty Ingolstadt Sioux Center at 7 p.m.
Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king. Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
North Dakota football single game tickets are on sale now. North Dakota takes on third-ranked Montana State Saturday, September 28th at the Alara Center. Join in on the family weekend fun and great tailgating. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields, Gear, Passion Sports, by Burger King, where taste is king, and by The Ground Round.
The UND men's hockey team visits Miami of Ohio on October 18th. That'll mark the first ever NCHC conference games for UND. Last week, coaches and players from every team in the league gathered in Minneapolis to talk about the start of a brand new conference.
Well, I think it's been a great way to kick off the new conference. I think it's obvious to see the excitement that's in and around the Target Center here today. The number of media people that have been here and taken part in Media Day has been great. And I think now that we're 2 weeks away from the start of our season, it's easy to get excited about kicking off something new and building a new tradition.
Well, I think it's exciting anytime you start something for the first time, and obviously a new league, and you look at the teams. I think that's been talked about a lot, the strength of the league, the quality of the team. So that's why you play a season, you let things shake out. I think for our fans, I think it's going to be awesome to have some teams in your building and see teams more and build some of the rivalries and keep those going and get new ones going. And for the players, I know they're looking forward to it. Because I think when you play quality teams, it makes you better.
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, there's some new teams that we haven't seen and some old foes that we've played lots and had rivalries with over the years. It's obviously going to be a challenge, top to bottom. There's a lot of good teams in this league where you're going to have to be at your best every night to win games, but it will be a fun experience for our guys going into the first year here.
Highly competitive. I think that's the bottom line, and I don't think that's that's not necessarily anything new for our fans. We see highly competitive games on a nightly basis, throughout our past. But as we move forward, I see that taking another notch higher. The level of programs that are within our league is, it's almost a daunting view when you look at it as a whole.
It's fun when you get to play good teams every week. It motivates you throughout the year and kind of makes you a better team as it pushes you throughout the season. For us, we're just looking forward to get it underway. It's been a long off season for us, so it's pretty exciting to get started here in the next couple weeks.
The UND women's soccer team will travel to Sacramento State to open Big Sky Conference play. And Coach Matt Kellogg joins us on the program. Matt, thanks for being with us once again.
Always a pleasure.
Out to sunny Sacramento, huh?
Let's hope it's sunny weather.
That's what you look forward to?
Yeah,
I suppose.
It's supposed to be good weather, so that won't play a factor in the results.
Matt, we talked a little bit earlier on the panel of experts About your squad a little bit and how you've kind of been on a little bit of a roller coaster. How do you look at that?
Growing pains. You know, we're really starting a young squad out there every game. You know, if it's actually true freshmen or redshirt freshmen or, you know, sophomores with just a little bit of game experience from last year, we really don't have a lot of older players that are starting for us. And quite honestly, anywhere on the squad you look, it's pretty young, and with young players come young mistakes and learning, the learning hardships.
Patience is the key, right?
Patience, yes, exactly. That's
How much
that's
do
a
you
word
have?
that I got enough. I got enough. So
Yeah, you look at it from the standpoint of, I guess, how receptive have your veteran players that, you know, it's a change for them of kind of what you're asking from them, and do you see them kind of setting a good tone for those younger players, even after some tough losses like a South Dakota State? You know, I mean, you had a good performance against South Dakota and ended up in a 2-all draw. But I guess, what do you think of your older players and how they've assumed their roles under your coaching staff?
that I can't speak enough about our veteran players and how they've really embraced, because like you said, they've been here the longest, so they're more entrenched in the old ways of doing things. The new players, they don't know anything. You know, they're freshmen, they're lost, they're going to do whatever you tell them. They're just trying to figure their way out, you know, from their dorm room to the classroom. But the veterans, you know, that's about changing the habits and the culture, and so far they've done a fantastic job of really buying in and doing everything they can every single day. If they can't do it, they're going to die trying. That's kind of our new motto is, you know, you don't know if you don't go, is trying everything, and they're really trying to rally the troops, the younger players around them in that effort.
But your production, I'm guessing, for the most part, is going to come from the younger players, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of that is a little bit misleading. I don't want you to think that our veterans aren't doing anything. We just have our veterans deeper back in the defensive side of things. Our attacking side is our younger players. So if you're looking for a lot of goals from seniors, you're not going to get that, just because they're more in the defensive areas of the field.
Matt, do you have somebody that you're looking forward to in the future, somebody young in the future might be a standout scorer for you?
Yeah, I think we've got a couple players
Keep an eye
that are showing some signs that they're starting to figure some things out for us. You know, one of our freshmen, Zoe Foster, is really starting to kind of get adjusted to the game at the college level, and she's doing a fantastic job of creating chances. You know, one of our sophomores, Andrea Hyduke, is showing that she's got the work rate and capacity to be a factor in this league, and I think, you know, she's coming off of a freshman year where she didn't play a lot. So part of that is just getting her confidence back. And I think you're starting to see that. She got on the board for us against USD. And, you know, I think you're going to see more of that to come.
Matt, have a great trip to Sacramento State and best of luck out there.
Thank you.
Matt Kellogg is the soccer coach at UND. Still to come, men's basketball tests their endurance for their upcoming season. That's up next on UND Insider Weekly.
Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
Preparation starts early. You're setting up cameras, scouting the area, sitting in a tree stand. No unnecessary movements. Blend into your surroundings. The animal pops out and you're ready to go. The atmosphere at the archery shop is awesome. It's a place to get info on how to become a better bow hunter. I'm Eric Shack. I'm an archery expert at Shields.
North Dakota hockey takes the ice against Manitoba Sunday night, October 6th.
Right now at Burger King, choose any 2 sandwiches for just $5. Whether you're craving a Whopper sandwich and an original chicken sandwich, an original chicken sandwich and a premium Alaskan fish sandwich, or a Whopper and another Whopper. Come in today and get any 2 for just $5. Only at Burger King, where taste is king.
Volleyball begins a homestand as they face Weber State on Thursday, Idaho State on Saturday, and North Dakota State Monday. All games start at 7 o'clock. You can watch them all on WatchBigSky.com. Monday's game against North Dakota State, also on Midco Sports Network. Get your tickets at the Ralph Engelstad box office or UNDSports.com. 30 games, at least 40 minutes each game, can be a long and grueling basketball season if you aren't ready for it. Brian Jones' squad got a chance to test their endurance before their season.
Just did 15 down and backs, 25 meters. Sergeant from the Air Force come in here. Basically instill some values in us like our coaches do. Never give up, always give 110%. And he basically introduced himself, told us to get right in the pool, no questions asked. So that was a little bit different than we're used to, but it was fun.
I feel like this is an exercise just to bring the team together and get us like more mentally tough as far as not giving up and being able to get through certain things that we're not used to. I'm just looking forward to get through it and just getting better.
All we know right now is that we're getting out of here, drying off, putting on some running shoes and going for a run. So we'll see what that entails when this is all done.
But it pays to be a winner, number 2. Okay? I like what I've seen so far. Some of you guys finish in the pool. You freaking start cheering each other on. You start, it's a big morale thing. We got other things to do after this run as well. All right? I'm the only thing stopping you from having a good weekend. All right?
Not a big running guy, so the 3-mile run it definitely challenged me, try to keep towards the front of the pack, being one of the older guys on the team, and that's what I tried to do, and I feel like that was the most challenging thing to me. He basically took us through their initial testing, PT testing that we have to do every so often. Started off, we swam 15 laps down and back in the pool. Then we had to get out. Within 5 minutes, we had to go do a 3-mile run. And then we headed back to the gym. We did push-ups, sit-ups, and flutter kicks.
We pushed ourselves as a team and individually. We swam, we ran, we did push-ups, pull-ups, and a lot of stuff that we haven't done in a certain amount of time. So a lot of it was just a lot of team building. We got better, worked hard, and got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, maybe we'd rather just be watching an NFL game, eating some pizzas all together at someone's place, but this kind of thing is really something that's necessary to push each other, really come together as a group by working hard, things that are going to push us outside our limits off the basketball court, and really come together as a team.
When we're going through this, it just seems so tough. It seems like you can't finish, but I mean, the good thing to take away from this is that you can finish, you can push through anything, and as a team, we all push through it right now. We all feel good, and it feels good to accomplish such a task like this. Do the same things that the military guys can push through, and it's a good feeling to finish through like this.
We have a very full slate of games this weekend, and we'll find out how good this well-researched panel is as we go through our predictions next.
UND Insider Weekly is sponsored by Shields, Gear, Passion, Sports, by Burger King, where taste is king, and by The Ground Round.
North Dakota football single game tickets are on sale now. North Dakota takes on third-ranked Montana State Saturday, September 28th at the Alara Center. Join in on the family weekend fun and great tailgating. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m.
For 25 years, the Big Sky Conference has been showcasing women's athletics. 25 years of authenticity, hard work, community, and 25 years of playing to win.
for the first time since 2007, is going.
But remembering that our vision is bigger than winning. We're the Big Sky, the heart of Division I, the heart of the American West.
Welcome back to UND Insider Weekly. We'll start with volleyball with this weekend's predictions. North Dakota meets Weber State on Thursday, Idaho State Saturday, and North Dakota State on Monday.
I'll go with a clean sweep, 3-0 against those teams. You know, North Dakota State might be undefeated in football, but they're winless in volleyball, so I think we can get them there.
Three in a row for 5 in a row. 4 in the conference for Ashley Hardy's team. I think I got the numbers right there. Brad, what do you think?
I think last week I picked them to lose both games, and they went out and won both games. So I learned my lesson this week. I'm picking them to win all 3 of them.
All 3 contests. Paul, you'll be doing the radio of the game on Monday at the North Dakota State game. So what do you think of the Weber State, Idaho State prior to that one?
I will be on board. I got on this bus last week, and I'm going to stay on that bus. And I think they're going to. The question is, how many sets will they lose? And I think they're going to be pretty good in that area too. I think Idaho State may take one. But I think they're going to get 3 straight wins, and I don't think they're going to give away too many sets here at home.
Yeah, I think they beat one of the better teams last weekend, and now they have a couple of the teams that might not be in the upper echelon of the Big Sky this weekend. I'm going to pick UND to sweep the 2 Big Sky matches, and then Monday against North Dakota State as well. Then we have football Saturday afternoon at the Alaris Center, a 2:30 game, as a matter of fact, as opposed to the 7 o'clocks we experienced earlier. And it's Montana State, and it's a Big Sky opener. Paul, this is a big bite for North Dakota to chew on, isn't it?
It's definitely a big challenge. Certainly, I think from the standpoint of last year out in Bozeman, things got a little ugly. That's a tough place to play. The fans get on you, and they were superb defensively. It was that Bobcats team. But we saw against Stephen F. Austin that they can be had a little bit, and I think we're going to see a solid North Dakota performance. I'm going to pick them by a field goal winner late, 41-38. North Dakota surprises everyone on Saturday with a big win.
A lot more points than a lot of people might have thought about this one. How about it, Brad?
Yeah, I think without Denarius McGee, their team changes a little bit. Maybe not quite as dynamic as they are with him in the lineup. Still, I think they do have enough to get over the hump and beat UND on the road, and I'll take Montana State in this one.
Tom?
I think it's going to be closer than, a Denarius McGee Montana State team might have it, but I think the Bobcats get them by a touchdown.
I think North Dakota has enough swag. Right? I think they're a little snarly right now after what happened against Montana. So I'm going to go and pick North Dakota 24-21 in that game. Tom, thanks for being here. Brad? Paul, well, you guys really did the job this weekend, no doubt about it. We want you to join us for a new episode of UND Insider Weekly next Wednesday at 8 o'clock on UNDsports.com, and then Friday at 5:30 on Midcoast Sports Network.